what will happen after the 72 hours ultimatum actually passed is, our hope is the people of Mekelle will understand that actually Mekelle is now surrounded in that fort for 50, and it may actually be less than 50 kilometers range, that anything can happen. Now the thing is, we believe they are being fed with a false and a hoax news that the TPLF forces are still challenging the National Defense Forces, and now they have effectively checked the National Defense Force from advancing towards Mekelle. But now when the people of Mekelle would be led to understand that is not the case, and actually the truth is that Mekelle is encircled, then they can make their mind to take a positive and a decisive action. If you have seen the progress when our National Defense Force have been capturing the cities and towns, what it used to do is to let the city alone, and then to make a big turnaround to surrounding the cities, so that it can cut off the militia and special force of TPLF from its command force and then from its routes. Once that happens, the case was the city dwellers actually used to approach our National Defense Forces and then giving their armaments which they were supplied to attack the very National Defense Force, and actually also to force the militia and special forces of the TPLF to surrender themselves to our National Defense Force. So what happened was, without the towns and cities being attacked, by just cutting off the route of the command force, and then the special force and the militia actually were melted away, mingling with the community, having or leaving their arsenals. Now what follows then is to have a rehabilitation process to give them confidence so that they can join the community and then pursue their peaceful life, and then to take their arms away from the special forces and militia and to hand over to our National Defense Forces. Our hope is once the Mekelle people would understand that it is actually encircled in that very short radius, then they can do the same what other cities have been doing in Tigray region. The other fear is that we have a hunch, given the fact that the TPLF forces have committed irreverence for our sacred places like mosques and churches, they can still use that egregious act on the mosques and the churches of Mekelle again. Again, given the fact that it's been destroying the bridges, now I think as of yesterday we had about 6 bridges which have been destroyed, a number of roads across the way. Then, given what happened to Aksum Airport, these forces could actually turn on Mekelle itself, so they may destroy the city. When our general was saying that it was within the range of a tank, what he meant was when the defense forces were capturing other cities and towns, they didn't have to pass through the cities. They have to make a big detour actually to go for rugged terrains. Now that terrain is actually passed. They don't have to climb mountains and hills, because all the mountains hills now have been left behind our National Defense Force, and what remains is a plain land, which is easier for tankers. So he was just explaining the fact that we have actually overcome the difficult task of moving to the rugged terrain. Now we are on the plain land, so it's easier for us. That was one fact. The other fact which he meant was that Mekelle is within the range of a tank, which means military-wise, it is easier to strike. That's the simple fact. The other aspect is to let the people that once that happens, then it's human that people would take a right choice, a choice which saves themselves, a choice which saves their future. So once they are let to know what is happening, what is actually a brute truth, then they will turn for their succor which is recourting for the rational choice of pushing these forces away and now saving their city and their future. That was an advice. So by providing a brute fact, it's letting people to understand the reality and then make a right choice. What will happen after the 72 hours ultimatum is passed, I think, is we hope people will understand the reality. Then they can tell the hoax which they were being fed by the TPLF and the reality which is at their doorsteps. And then they can understand and choose and take the right action, like other dwellers of Aksum, Mardigrat, and Adwa have actually taken.